All right, welcome back to Bush League Geek. We want to thank everybody for listening to us and all the support we've got so far. Before we get started, we want to take time out. One of our own, Randall, he decided to take the plunge and ask his woman to follow him to the midst of Avalon, and she said yes. So we want to say congrats to them and good luck and everything. And
good luck.
so what we're going to do is we're going to have a fill-in today. Cliff is going to be our movie expert. He's going to take over Randall's place for today. And we're going to talk about cult classics. We're going to start with our favorite and kind of go from there. So, Matt, I'm going to give it to you and have you start this.
I'm going to go ahead and say cult classic. Something that has recently come up because they're talking about remaking it. Big Trouble in Little China.
Don't. They don't need
Leave it
to.
alone.
Yeah,
That's
Which
right.
we could go on and on about movies that do not need to be remade because they were perfect as they are. But I'll go ahead and say that Big Trouble in Little China was one of my favorite movies ever, and it still is to this day. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Pop just came out with some new figures of the Big Trouble in Little China cast, of course I had to go out and buy them immediately to add to the collection.
You have to go out and buy everything.
To add to your purchasing of your childhood.
I think what made that movie good, though, was the horrible special effects.
It was a movie made in the 80s for the 80s.
It
It
was-
needs to stay there.
Exactly. So, all right, so Matt's is Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. Cody?
I'm going to go with Army of Darkness on this one. That's one of
Nice.
my favorite old school movies. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go with that one is because they're coming out with that new series, Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I think is going to be pretty awesome. So, and that's, I don't know. Yeah, that's one that doesn't need to be remade.
Okay.
That show would be pretty sweet.
Did you see him at the end of the Evil Dead movie? At the very end of the credits.
Oh, you mean the remake that
yes.
you came up with?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was at the very end of the credits.
That
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Go back and
didn't
watch
see
it.
it either. Cliff, movie expert extraordinaire.
I'm going to say one of my favorite cult classics, Army of Darkness as well, but touching more back on Evil Dead. They really didn't need to remake Evil Dead, and the remake of Evil Dead was very subpar. They focused way too much on blood and gore, making it seem real and like pushing the envelope, whereas the old Evil Dead, it was made for literally thousands of dollars in the woods of Tennessee. And it wasn't supposed to be a good movie. It wasn't supposed to be a cult classic. But it was so incredibly terrible that people loved it.
Well, see, that's what I wondered. Like with Sam Raimi, was he trying to recreate, like in Evil Dead 1 and 2, where there's just blood, different colored blood everywhere? If he tried to recreate that, because I noticed like in Poltergeist, he's in charge of Poltergeist, and I think he's trying to recreate all the stuff in old Poltergeist. But I hope, like we talked about before, if he does it in a good idea, if it's a good idea to recreate old stuff and keep the old movie stuff in the new movie.
That's the thing about Poltergeist too, and I don't know if it's just me, but I remember the original Poltergeist being kind of comical.
I mean,
Like it was not really a scary movie.
There again, though, it was a horror movie
Like
made in the 80s.
Yeah.
And we all watched it as kids. So when we were kids, it was absolutely terrifying.
I'm about to say, it messed me up. It's like, hey,
Right.
yeah.
I still don't like clowns. If the lights are off, I'm not going near my closet.
Don't get me started.
Period. Box TV still frighten me to this day.
Go into the bathroom and see all
If you
that
can
junk
find a
come out
box
of your
TV.
mouth.
Right.
That,
Yeah. I'll tell you, it since you brought that up, messed me up as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see,
Like,
it-
I hate clowns.
I think we talked about that before. Like it was everyone's like, oh, clowns, clowns, clowns. No, as a grown man, I will not stand near a shower drain.
We don't float down
I will,
here.
I don't
We
care.
don't float down here.
I will,
Brooks.
yeah.
I should get like a
So-
What did he have?
I-
and hide it in his new.
Now I will say, every time I see somebody use an inhaler, I think, battery acid. It's battery acid.
Kevin,
My girlfriend uses a puffer.
I don't know if this is a cult classic because we talked about I might be stupid. I don't know what that means, but I think it is one of the best.
Step is
So
admitted.
stupid, you don't know what stupid means.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is one of the best sequels ever made. The movie Aliens.
Ah, good call.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That,
yeah,
I mean,
game over, man.
Ridley
Ridley
Scott
Scott
started him, The first one was good. The second one, by far, hands down, the best sequel ever made.
I don't know. I think Bill Paxton kind of made that movie.
Exactly. Game over, man. I'm some pretty shit now.
Like, I don't know. I don't really understand the casting point of having Paul Reiser there.
Exactly,
At least-
Bishop, and he will always be Bishop to me. Every movie I see him in, he's Bishop.
You said Paul Reiser, the
Paul Reiser. He's always like
he was like the bad guy, technically.
Right. He was the Weasley, like kind of ratty, like
that guy.
Southwood,
Yeah,
like
that guy. Different guy.
Wait, hold on! Don't kill the aliens. We kind of want to save them and see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Right. Why do you need that like Woody Allen-ish nervous Jew in a sci-fi movie? Like seriously, not necessary.
But he made a really good dad.
He did.
For TV.
For TV, yes.
For TV.
I think Ridley Scott lost a bet, and that's how Paul Reiser ended up in the movie.
Or do you think it was like a rope and bow kind of thing, like just say
Right? There was some party where they were somebody did too much blow, and they was like, "I want to be in your next movie," and he was like, "Rock, paper, scissors, me, Thor," and then Paul Reiser's like, "All right, let's do this."
I'm in this movie now.
shoot,
Shit! And then somebody threw a paper when they should have thrown rock, and then that's how Paul Reiser got in Aliens.
What'd you think about Prometheus?
There's just a...
I know.
There's always that common reaction, just the slight exhale of
it was
contempt.
it was cool. I just don't see how it was like considered a prequel for.
It wasn't originally intended, or at least it didn't come out that it was originally intended to be a prequel. It ended up being a prequel because that seemed to be what got the people interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Xenomorph was added towards the end.
I thought it was kind of cool.
It was a good movie, but for being a prequel to Aliens, I couldn't see it.
Well,
I mean, it showed the space jockey for like a split second,
Right.
and then that was it. So, I don't know.
I personally loved Prometheus, but I feel like it's because I get it. I feel like most people watched that movie and they didn't understand what was going
You had
on.
an alien thing cut out of your stomach?
You empathize with that?
I'm not gonna say that it didn't have ridiculous parts. But
What? A sci-fi movie that has ridiculous,
Thank
unbelievable parts?
None of it's supposed to be like, oh, that could totally happen.
It's a science fiction movie.
Wait, all this is not true? All the stuff we've seen?
Those aren't documentaries? What? I've been living a
You're telling me I
lie.
can't actually go to the Death Star?
That would okay. Like
I'm not going to be able to turn a pill into like a turkey at some point in my life.
Like for
I
instance,
know, Back to the Future
Hey, people
ruined me
still
for
lived on it.
No, it's
because you couldn't make it.
You can't take a Ritz cracker-sized pizza, put it in the food hydrator, and like, bing!
or
Who wants a fresh pizza?
or Fifth Element. You know,
Why aren't we?
She came.
Yeah.
She comes in. Yeah, ding. She's got a damn Thanksgiving turkey in her hands. Yeah.
Yeah, that as a young fat child, that ruined me.
That's a good one. Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. That's kind of a given. But Santi, what's going to be your pick?
I'm gonna pick. I have two because you're not. I don't think you guys will appreciate the first one at all, and you're gonna give me hell about it.
Cheater.
It's Masters of the Universe, isn't it?
I actually like that movie though.
There's always somebody.
What'd you say?
Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
Actually, dude, I like
That was a great-
movie.
yeah,
That was a great
good
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been a musical,
It's based off of a musical,
I get that.
so it had to be a musical.
I think the movie.
Yes, stupid.
The movie is based off
Is this a
Broadway
little
musical.
squirrel?
But as far as, because that one's a little out there for much, Blade Runner. And if they ever decide to make Blade Runner, I'm going to California killing somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's documented.
You heard it here first, folks.
As we try to find who killed the director of Blade Runner, we've got a video of a guy named Santi out from Huntsville, Alabama, confessing that he would kill this man.
Chris does talk.
No.
If this ever
What's
goes to
that?
trial, this is what they call circumstantial evidence.
Is this considered
But as far,
Exhibit A or B?
but as far as
Circumstantial, like you said.
Blade Runner goes, it was a perfect movie for the time.
For the time.
It was done the way movies had to be made then. It had that gritty, real feel, and it doesn't need to be redone with CGI. It just needs to stay how it is
All right.
and go on.
Well, I've got a question I want to bring up, but I want you to get your pick in first, Chris.
I've got two. My first one is The Last Dragon, mainly because I don't see.
Somebody's got to start the slow cat.
Who's the master?
Show enough.
So enough.
My main reason why I'm picking that is because
Eddie Arcade.
I mean, even though I was a kid, I thought it was pretty much completely awesome. And then second of all, I don't see how they could even remotely make that. Remake it.
You can't.
You can't redo that nowadays.
Who could you find
Because-
in Bruce Leroy that would pull it off?
Well, it's not even that. It's just
I mean,
like just his
Bow
love
Wow
interest
would
would
be
be.
my first pick.
It would just be his love interest that
No,
would be
you
hard
had
to
the
find
Blue
because
Jays.
they don't have those
I
dance little studios anymore.
It's
Now they have
everywhere.
it like all we have is nightclubs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'd be pretty much trying to go after someone's girlfriend at the club that you think is just fine.
And she'd immediately put your ass on Instagram.
Yeah, it would
She'd like take a video like, look at this one.
I don't know. Would it be considered the club, or would it be like, hey, trying to hook up with a chick at Coachella or something like that? Like, would it be more of a music festival kind of thing?
I would feel
I
like
mean,
it has
we
to be
could
a club
debate
because
that
that's
all
an
day.
every single night.
I feel like if it was at Coachella, it'd be the shortest movie ever because it'd be like, I went to go find this girl and I got handed this baggie and roll credits.
And then I don't remember anything.
My second one, I don't know if it's considered cult classic since it's kind of, well, not as new, but with the digital world that we live in. But mine, the other one is Napoleon Dynamite. That movie's so horrible, but yet it's so great at the same time.
Eat your food, Tina.
It's incredibly quotable. And
Oh, jeez.
I shudder when I see that it's on TV.
Because your girlfriend will watch it.
My girlfriend loves that movie, and she's notoriously terrible about loving terrible movies. When I was leaving to come here, she was watching Night at the Roxbury for
For the fifth time?
for
Awesome.
the fifth day in a row.
Nice. The movie's awesome.
That's
What's
how
your Roxbury?
that's how domestic abuse.
Yeah,
falls.
because I did see it on Netflix yesterday. Yeah.
Well, you see, officer, she's been watching Night at the Roxbury for 5 days straight, and damn it, I just had enough.
No, like it
Talk
came from
about
her baby.
circumstances.
Right. Would never happen.
Nope.
He said he loved you. Can't live without you.
I'm not
That's
going
what
to
we heard.
California and killing anybody.
Santy's more likely to kill someone than I am to hit my girlfriend. 'Cause she's got a gun.
That
And
you
a lot.
bought her.
No.
Did you regret it? Like as soon as it hit her hands, was it
Ooh, I was like, yeah. Oh.
what did I do?
What did I do?
It seemed like a good idea up here, and then it just...
It's like you ever see in movies where they say that you can predict your own death or how you die.
Yes.
It's like that flash of like realization where it's like, oh,
Milk was a bad
I'm gonna wind up
choice.
on the Darwin Award.
What were you gonna say, Bruce?
All right, well,
Yeah.
I want to bring up, like, okay, so all of us, most of us, are 80s babies, and we all brought up movies from the 80s and stuff that we don't want to see remade, cult classics, all that other stuff. Well, before that, I didn't put my pick in. Mine's going to be Boondock Saints. You know, wasn't very popular, hit DVDs, and then people were getting tattoos,
Exactly.
merchandise, the whole 9 yards.
It's
and then
kept Norman Reedus' career alive.
long enough for
Yeah,
Walking
for
Dead.
a while.
What was he
On a
in before that?
Brief Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
It was
Nothing.
it was
No, I don't
it was
know.
Monty Python. What? Oh no, Norman Reedus. Never mind. I was talking about.
And what was
Monty
he in
Python,
before
Holy Grail was
Walking
a great
Dead? I
cult
remember he was
classic
in Blade too. Other than
He was
that,
in
Yeah.
Blade 2, but Blade
I
2 didn't come
Did
out.
not
didn't
do
come
well.
after,
Yeah.
until after Boondock Saints.
Right.
I don't know if he was in anything before Boondock Saints, but if it was, it obviously wasn't memorable.
Well, give us just a second here. Let's see. 'Cause a couple of us have laptops out, so we'll see what.
He's always been in something where he's like the kind of like white, trashy, ratty looking kid. Like he's
always
he's
looks
terribly
the same.
typecast
Always, man.
Let's see.
in that
Oh,
role.
speaking.
Davis is dead. Let the devil wear black. 8mm.
Oh,
He was in
what?
8mm. Really?
Yeah, but he like Cliff said, he was probably in some
Yeah. I was gonna say,
goober
'cause-
no
Where
name.
was he in 8mm? Because
Yeah.
I remember Joaquin
I'm trying
He
to
was
Phoenix.
think.
he was
Exactly, I'm
Warren
trying to
Anderson in 8mm.
Warren
I
Anderson.
did not remember him at all in that
See.
movie.
I don't either. I must go back.
I was
and
too
watch it.
distracted by Joaquin Phoenix's terrible hair and his really shiny tight pants.
Brooks, what was the question you were trying to get out?
Yeah, sorry, because I got a little distracted.
You
You're right.
derailed yourself.
Well, if it's what I think you're gonna say, it's something we had discussed in a little bit of length the other day. Since you were saying we're 80s babies, these are all things that we grew up with.
Yeah. Is it going to be one of those things like we will never want to see an 80s movie remade? Or a movie that we grew up watching ever remade?
Right.
Like, if someone, like, okay, let's just say, like, you see some of these movies getting remade. Italian Job. You know, that was a remake from, what, like the 60s or 50s or whatever?
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Caine.
Yeah. Whoever saw that when it first came out, were they like, when they saw the new one, were they like,
I didn't even know it was a
you know.
remake.
Probably not.
Well, I'd give a good example, which
Wow,
not
the
too.
There's so many remakes. Like,
The first Italian Job is awesome. The original.
I'm saying
with
if
the original minis.
if you see the if you
The
see
new one?
the original of something, do you want to see it remade?
Well, I mean, you're probably more hesitant going in because someone else is taking your idea of what you enjoy or enjoyed, and they're completely redoing it. Like when they redid the Star Trek movies, when J.J. Abrams redid the Star Trek movies, there was a huge uproar in the community about how he completely derailed the timeline. It's like, how could he do this? Why would he do this? And it was because that he was trying to make it his own for a newer generation of people.
And it was awesome.
And it
Big
turned out to be
success.
outstanding.
Yeah, and if the Star
There's
Trek
one movie
movies
that's
had been like that when we were growing up, I might have watched them.
Right. I mean, I still watched them when I was a kid just because they were just, well, I'm a huge dork, and they were incredibly campy in some points.
Well, and I was going to say the type of movie that was made when we were growing up. And I just think about like Big Trouble in Little China. There was also Snake Plissken. There was Escape from L.A. There was Escape from New York. Those movies would just get laughed at now.
Exactly.
Straight to 8-track.
Right. What?
Well, the thing is like, I want to say it would be,
Hang
it
on,
matters.
it'll sink in.
I want to say it matters on the type of film because even though Dredd wasn't like a complete remake from the actual movie, I feel like it was awesome. It was action packed and it was great.
I love
I feel like
badass.
the newer Dredd followed more closely toward the gore and the just like in your face that the comic books did, whereas the Stallone Dredd was
The Stallone Dredd.
it was a Stallone movie.
It tried to be a
He took his
90s
helmet
comic
off
movie.
in the very first scene. Judge Dredd does not take his helmet off
Right.
for anything. All of a sudden, here comes Sylvester Stallone. Oh, helmet off. It's just like, really?
Yeah.
But it
I
was
am the law.
I'm a pretty Italian with partial Bell's palsy.
Well, and just to cover it for a second, because we've kind of kept it as an
Badass
off-limit
Cobra.
topic.
Rob Schneider.
We all grew up with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
We're all excited for the new one, even though Disney has rebooted the entire universe.
Derailing the EU.
But not a
Well,
remake.
I really
In a way,
It's not a remake though. That's what I'm saying. There's
They're
a difference between a.
It's literally 30 years later.
Mhm.
They're doing
In a
it
different
30
universe.
years later.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll ask you guys this.
But they're in space.
Even though, not to upset Cody, to remind him again for the 40th time this week, but
You like the slow look.
if instead of it come out with Tron Legacy as like being a sequel to Tron from 20 years ago, if they were just completely remaking Tron, you're telling me you wouldn't go see it?
I would go see
Are
it,
you
but I'd
talking-
have
are
to-
you
Just anyone in general, because
If they remade it?
yeah, because
I'd go watch it, dude.
exactly,
I would go watch
it's
it,
a
but
whole
I'll
new
stay
era.
out of it.
The
It's a whole
problem
new era of
is-
technology. You would want to see how they created it in the world we live in now.
I would have huge
The
reservations.
problem is
going
we
in
have a much greater understanding of the technology that was
than they did then.
unfathomable to the people watching that movie at the time. They were like, "How did they do this?" And now we're like,
What's
"We
this
have
antivirus?"
Avengers."
Now we're doing 3D rendering on smartphones. We're like, this is so cool. They're
Like,
they
I
have
just-
entire warehouses dedicated to like one program.
Yeah.
Most of that movie they did the old-fashioned way. They didn't even use special effects.
Right. It was all.
And now we can
Yeah, I mean, they
shoot
had
that.
like light suits.
That's the reason why I said,
Yeah.
like, I feel like if they do remake a film, it would have to be in a certain criteria of stuff that's gradually changed over time. That's like, well, it's a remake, but yeah, it's going to be completely different just because
Make it
everything's
their
changed
own,
so
make it
much.
new.
Well, and I feel like one of the things that goes along with that I feel like we experience with the movies now is there's nothing new to be shown. Like we talked about before with The Matrix. When The Matrix came out and they did the slow-mo and they panned the cameras around, you were just like,
They literally created
Changed the
a
game.
type of filming. Like it was James Cameron. Well, not comparative to the Wachowski siblings to James Cameron, but
siblings.
in that sense where they created an entirely new type of filming because the need supported it.
Yeah, they built rigs and everything.
But that's kind of what I mean. Like, what is there new to be shown anymore? And that's I feel like that's dead into the movie experience because everybody bitches about everything now. You see a review and you're just like,
Yeah, because
oh dear God, why are they bitching
yeah,
about that?
people will go, if it's a whole new idea, people will go see it, and then as soon as they get out, all they're doing is comparing it to films that already happened.
Yeah.
So instead of having the whole comparison, they're just like, well, we can just remake this. Not having any arguments, people are going to go see it no matter what.
Happiness is not making comparisons.
Yeah. Oh, did you watch that movie? I did. It's good. What movie? What was it? Hector
and the Pursuit of
The
Happiness
Pursuit
or whatever?
of Happiness. Yeah,
Is that or the
something.
Wasn't that with Will Smith?
No. Oh, that's pursuit.
Hector in the search for
Yeah.
happiness.
That's awesome, dude.
Pound of flesh? What?
Well, so that's a big difference. But all right, well, you know, we wanted to bring that up because it was fresh on our minds and stuff. We don't want to come across as just like a movie critic kind of show. You know, we're going to do more stuff, but that was something that was in our head. So what we want to do now is we all have gamer tags. We all have stories behind gamer tags. I'm pretty sure whoever's listening, y'all have a good story and a pretty decent gamer tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Matt again, since you're to my left.
What I was going to say to that is that's kind of how this whole thing got started. We all play Destiny together. We play video games together. I've played Halo with Cliff for...
since its inception.
10 years, yeah. We tried playing the recent one, but it doesn't work.
We talked about that.
Shout out to 343 Industries. You made a garbage product.
Well, they probably made a decent product. They just don't have the servers to support it.
So it's just funny
Don't
that
get me started.
you know, a lot of people associate
That was
themselves with their gamers tag. They say, you know, look for me online, we'll play together, whatever else. And a lot of times it's something that's meaningful to them or clever or just something that you've stuck with for 10 years because you couldn't get rid of it. But my personal gamer tag that I use now is Clever Bacon. That's because of my last name. My last name's Cunningham. And when we worked retail together, we had headphones, and we would call each other on the headphones, and it got to where I stopped listening for my name. So they had to come up with clever names to call me, and they started saying Smart Pig because I stopped listening for Cunningham. So when they said Smart Pig, my ears would perk. And then that finally evolved into Clever Bacon. Cunningham, Smart Pig, Clever Bacon.
Oh, I get it.
I was just about to ask, like, why would they come up with like Smart Pig? I was like, cunning. Oh,
yeah.
There it is. There it is. Yo, this guy.
So Clever Bacon has stuck ever since.
Well, do you ever think that that's going to be like, instead of just introducing yourself as like, hey, I'm Matt, would you just ever come out like, hey, Clever Bacon? Like,
You
is
know,
it going
I
to get to that age where
I wonder at what point where we have like virtual screens embedded into our pupils that we're gonna see each other's. You know, like,
Well,
when you're playing
Their
PvP.
avatar,
Yeah.
as you're talking to them.
Right, it pops up
Like
above their
in Wall-E.
head.
Like, see, I was like, Wall-E.
All those
All
new contact lenses, those
Yeah.
smart contact lenses, yeah.
We're
Like
all
a
walking
stepping up.
balloons on hover chairs that
Right.
don't know how to interact with people.
That can't
Like
actually
now.
move our bodies. But seriously, like, at what point are we gonna be? You know, you don't know somebody's name, but you can like Google search their face and it pops up with their username above their head. It's like, I know something about you that I read on the internet.
It's like a hot tub time machine
It's
too.
completely creepy.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it has like their
It has to be
DNA.
true.
What?
It has to be true.
If it's on the internet, it has to be true, right? Those are the rules.
Right, right.
Buongiorno. I think of that commercial every time.
He's a
Oh yeah, he's a French male
Buongiorno.
mom. Buongiorno.
Oh, bonjour.
All right,
Kind
Cody.
of like Brad Pitt.
Well, I mean, mine's not. I don't really have like a really cool story like that. It's Digital Steel 5, by the way. It's really stupid if I tell you how I came up with the name.
Oh, now we have to know.
Yeah, I know.
You can't just preface it like that and be like, no one's going to ask, I hope.
Let's think.
Move on.
Wrong.
Let's see. It was probably
Well, don't
around
think up a
2002, 2003. You know, I used to watch Smallville all the time. And,
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was trying to come up with a screen name actually, so I could log into the WB website
Did you get your parents' permission first?
and participate in the forums there.
When they
And
sell
I
the
was
commercials.
trying to think of something related to Superman,
Did you
but I
lie
could
about
not
your
come
birthday
up
and
with
log in?
anything. And I was thinking still, like Superman, and since it's online,
Like John Henry
digital
Myers.
still. Of course, that was taken, so I had to add a number to it. So I did 5.
So you just
Because-
randomly picked 5.
No, because
He
there's
went
5
one.
fingers in a fist. So it's like digital still.
We're gonna move on. That
I
story.
really feel like we need to focus on this story. 'Cause there's some-
I can just picture him in his room like,
I mean,
I feel like you've never had to tell anyone that.
I've never had to tell that story before.
This is the same reaction
yeah.
that people have.
I
in
like
the
digital
intervention.
still though. It sounded great to me. So I was like, sweet.
Sounded.
Okay, for everyone listening, we're just gonna do like the MIB mind blank thing. Cuddy, we need you you to come up with a better story.
I'm gonna need you to look at this.
Yeah. Come back to me next week. I'll get back to you. Homework.
That wasn't a real story. It was a total dry run. It was fake.
Just want to hook you guys in. All right, Cliff.
So my gamer tag is Beasley73810. I had to add the 0 because I forgot my password for Xbox Live, and my original gamer tag was Beasley7381, but they wouldn't let me have it, even though all the information is exactly the same. And Microsoft screw that way. So the reason why my gamer tag is Beasley7381. Fresh out of high school, me and a group of friends, my best friend and his brothers, essentially, we all went down to Florida. Oh, and my best friend Will. We all went down to Florida. We were there for 2 or 3 days, and we're driving back. We're all tired, hungover, sunburnt, the usual. And I'm in the car in front of my friend Ryan and his brother Adam, and it's me and Will in his old Mercury Grand Marquis, the big giant rectangular lead sled that looked like a Crown Vic, but it was the Mercury one.
Those things are so nice to ride in.
Yeah.
So comfy.
It's like driving a living room. It was amazing. We're driving through this town, and my friend Ryan looks at his brother, and he goes, who's driving Will's car? And his brother retorts with, come on, man. You know who's driving Will's car. Look at that head. And the silhouette's like 2 times greater than that of a normal skull. And they're driving past a street sign that says Town of Beasley. And they just look at each other and just go, Beasley! We had a phase in high school where we were naming body parts. Like, it gets worse. Just stay with me. My best friend Ryan, his butt's name is Charles. His younger brother Adam is Braille Nipples McGee. His youngest brother AJ, I think he named his beanbag Jenkins. And of course, they named my head because it's twice the size of that of a normal human's, Beasley. So that's just stuck with me through my entire life. And the 731 just my birth date, so it's not near as cool as,
See, Cody? See, that's a story.
So you got a head like Beasley.
Right.
Right.
Every time you hear it,
Like a small town in Florida.
You got a head like Beasley, and they're like, "What the hell's a Beasley?" It's like, that's a Beasley.
That's never popular enough to get any cool nicknames.
My neck muscles are the strongest part of my body. Fun fact.
Because it has to hold that thing up.
Because I have to support my gargantuan noggin.
And your tongue.
And my tongue. My tongue is.
Show the folks your tongue.
Right, Gene.
I've never felt more uncomfortable being in a room full of men.
Now it's a party.
Now it's a party.
Gross.
All right, now the story that I know I've been waiting to hear.
Well, I actually have 2 gamer tags. I've got an Xbox and I've got a PlayStation. My Xbox is Dwight Schrute 974. Because
he looks like Dwight Schrute.
For those who are friends with me on Facebook, one Halloween, and I'll show you this clip and you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh, instant realization right there.
I was the spot-on image of Rainn Wilson, Dwight Schrute for Halloween. And
Fact.
Outstanding.
I forgot all about that now.
Yes.
Like I keep seeing you as Rainn
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica.
I'm going to need you to start every question with question.
False.
False.
Yes, I had a realization. I was like, I think I can pull that off, and I did it. And end of story. My PlayStation gamer tag is, I meant for it to be AL Gizmo, but people say it's Al Gizmo, but it's not. People call me Gizmo because you're not supposed to feed me liquor after midnight. Hence, in fact, who all was with me last night was got into a fight at the bar.
This is by no way an admission of guilt and not admissible in court.
Especially tequila. Keep away from that after
yes.
midnight, for sure.
Don't ever take me to a pool and not feed me because I will cuss out little kids.
Oh no, they need it. I'm totally with him on this. Kids today they're rotten. I hate them.
I will pass out in the
It's so
movie,
funny,
start
though.
snoring,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
wake up and be like,
Pass
this
out in
movie is
movies.
terrible, and go eat food and be mad because I got the wrong order while I'm eating somebody else's food.
Oh, wow.
And then, yes, I black out. Are you?
That is
All right, for whoever's
outstanding.
listening, we just pulled it up, and it is spot on. We'll post it up on our Facebook page.
If the Office had to have a stunt double, they could not have picked a better candidate.
Kevin, just need you to holler out hardcore parkour and just
Hardcore parkour!
Question.
question.
Beats
Bears.
You know, I'm
Now, so glad.
Yes,
Question.
and
Good
Do I look
Lord,
just
dude.
like Dwight Schrute?
The face and everything.
yes,
And
and
you're so like you look angry like him too. Like you just. Oh Lord! All right, let's
All
move on. Let's not focus so much on that
all right,
epicness.
yes.
Santy.
My current gamer tag came from playing WoW, but my actual gamer tag, I use one of two. The one I'm using on PlayStation right now is Wolfwood 3.0. I also use Wolfwood CS. The CS is from the guild I was in WoW, Coteus Sordalis. Very good group of people I played WoW with. I wouldn't have played as long as I had without it. As far as the Wolfwood part, it's from Trigun. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of explaining that needs to be done there. It was a character that I associated with very closely. It's one of the first animes that I ever actually got into.
Nicholas D. Wolfwood.
Really not a super great story behind mine. It's just anime that I stuck with, and
We both had them. I had
Yeah.
Mash the Stampede on the Xbox Network. And
I've kept
and
with it.
Wolfwood.
I've kept
So
with
glad
it
that's
forever.
gone.
It's still there.
Oh God.
I mean, I can't live up to the email address I had in high school anymore. No fat at Hotmail. I mean, I'm fat. I was like this big around.
So you
fat.
used no fat. That was it.
But
Were you a self-conscious 16-year-old girl in high school?
no.
No, he
no
literally,
fat
he
and
literally
hot
had no fat on his body. He was
Well,
like
I
the
mean,
skinniest
I
person
remember him
ever.
from like back in the Best Buy days.
Right.
Yeah, I graduated high school like 110 pounds.
But I was 110 pounds when I was 8.
I was about to say, I think the last time I saw 110 pounds, I was in preschool, maybe. I don't know.
Last time I saw 110 pounds, it was the wings I ate.
That you couldn't keep down.
We're not telling that story today.
We're not telling that story today. Stay tuned next time.
Because I want to.
But that story will come out sooner or later.
Yeah,
it's
like-
okay.
It came out right.
All right, Chris.
Hold on.
Mine's actually pretty simple. I don't really have a story. My gamer tag was mainly just a copy of my email address from when I had AOL. So it was ChrisBC256. That was my gamer tag for Xbox. I tried to do that when I got my PS4, but apparently I already had a PlayStation account and I just couldn't remember anything. So I ended up just creating ChrisBC1147. Because that used to be like my passcode to my storage unit a long time ago when I was little. I was like, oh, enter. Good done.
Did you say Chris B or Crispy?
Chris P. C.
Chris P.
The PC is my middle and last
Crispy.
initial. And then the 256 was always like just my area code.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's mine. Nothing super awesome. And then you get drunk at a bar and
So AOL,
get
huh?
a name or anything.
AOL.
AOL, do your parents still use that?
No. No one uses
All right,
that.
well,
I remember reading an article about AOL's revenue stream was still a large chunk of subscribers
Let me get this number right. You say nobody uses AOL anymore.
from the
They
dial-up service.
AOL just got purchased for
Because they never
several
discontinued the show.
They never
billion
discontinued.
By who?
That's let me
Did Google buy them?
what?
I think Yahoo bought them. Let me make sure.
All right, while he's looking it
Yeah,
up,
but
I
didn't
see
Yahoo
that
get bought
What?
too?
Who? Everybody,
Yahoo.
everybody say Yahoo.
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 yeah,
He
Yahoo.
Just making sure he didn't say. You totally said Yahoo.
And actually, it
What
was
are you from Wisconsin?
Verizon bought.
Sorry to the Wisconsin viewers.
Verizon. Yeah, Verizon. Yeah, Verizon bought AOL for $4.4 billion
Verizon.
in May,
Hmm.
and they bought
Jesus,
them.
so they're going to start screwing people on two fronts now. Nice.
kind of like
Dang,
Comcast.
man, I used to wait for like those free
Comcast.
trials for AOL.
Good to know Nazi Germany's still alive.
Check this out.
All right, so
This was an article that was put out in May of this year. More than 2 million people are still paying for AOL dial-up. Now, here's the kicker on that. A lot of those people that are still paying for AOL dial-up don't know it. Because they've signed up with their Comcast or Charter
yeah.
or Knology, some other provider to provide them high-speed internet. but AOL software always had that option of using current connection.
Yeah,
remember?
These are probably
connection.
the same people that send money to the Nigerian prince.
Call
Probably.
Comcast right now.
All right, maybe
Verizon-
he's real, maybe he's not. Probably he's not.
Verizon apparently bought AOL to harness the strength in online advertising and mobile video. They're going to use them like a Yahoo portal. That's what they bought them for.
I hear it, man.
Huh.
Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yeah,
They're gonna use it like a Yahoo portal.
It's the freaking Yahoos over there.
Fracking Yahoo.
All right, well,
Spent 8 years in Missouri, I guess, in there somewhere.
all right. So let me finish up with the gamer tag deal, and then we're actually going to go to something that has to do with tech and things like that. But my gamer tag is Drunk Goat 51. It started out me and my uncle. We liked, exactly.
It's one of those stories, kids. Leave the room.
We claim no responsibility for what you're about to hear.
Just because I had to point it out on the dolls, no. No, not that kind of story. No, we were big fans of, for those that don't know it, that might be a little too young, Adam Sandler actually made CDs at one point.
Yes.
CDs were little round things you put in players. And
You fucking buttonhook me.
Lady Cockaball.
so
I got no
So he
dicks.
had this one-
I got no dicks.
yeah, I got no notes. So he had this one little skit. It was of a talking goat. And the talking goat was always chained up to a back of a truck. And the old drunk guy always beat the shit out of the goat. And the goat was like, hey, old man was like, hey, put up your dukes. Like, hey, I got no dukes. It was like, and it was stuff like that. So we liked that enough. So we ended up coming up with the whole drunk goat thing. And 51 was my apartment, just an apartment number. So that's how that manifested.
Going to the Ragu festival.
No, as you oh, you heard that? Yeah, he was beating the shit out of you.
I really thought that story was going to take a dark turn when you said,
Not at all.
I got this because my uncle. Oh, no.
With drunk goats and uncles.
No, not that kind of story.
Boy.
But let's get back to. So we're going to switch gears one more time. We're going to actually go to kind of a tech and patience kind of thing. Basically, what we talked about when we brought this topic is that how the technology now has weakened, I guess would be the best way to
It's killed all patience
patience.
that we have.
How when we hear about something, we want it now, and if it's not what we like, we don't like it, or if it's not what we expect,
And
we don't like it.
we will piss and moan about it for 6 months till it comes out.
Something that takes 10 minutes to download now is just unreasonable.
Right.
Versus, speaking of AOL, everyone had AOL on here, I'm assuming, at
Taking
one
an
point.
hour to download one
Yeah.
song.
Takes 37 minutes to
Hey, but
to
that's
do a
the best
picture.
song you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah, you get like that line by line.
Yeah, take like 37 minutes to do a picture. Yeah, I was say, Kevin, that was a pretty good phone connection you had
Exactly.
for one song. But yeah,
Back when Napster first started, and you just queued everything.
Yeah, just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
just queued it and left your computer on. Yeah, Napster. God, Napster.
Yeah.
How old do you feel now?
I know, right? Just things like that. Like I think in our last podcast we talked about the GameCube being 15 years ago.
Yeah, Napster's worse. That's, yeah.
Good Lord. So let's start on that topic. So, Cliff, how do you feel about that?
Coming from a electronic retail background, going from electronic retail to electronic retail cell phone sales, the instant gratification that our society is currently enjoying is absolutely ruining us as people who have zero patience for anything that takes longer than that. Period. The worst part about it is it's.
Are you done yet?
Shut up. It's also, people raising kids to be that way. Like, here, put an iPad in front of Billy's face. And it's going to make him socially, a social reject in 10 years.
My
Because
kids would be playing with Mega Blocks
Yeah.
all day.
Dude.
See, you guys say
Don't
that,
buy
but
Mega Blocks. They are not as good as Legos.
Listen,
Yeah,
man
I can
knows
build
his
a castle.
toys.
I'm gonna say
Obviously.
Mega Blocks has some really cool properties. They got
Yeah,
Halo
but do-
somehow.
But do you know how many
because at the
Legos it
time
would take
Lego
to
wasn't
build a castle?
licensing. That's the only reason they got
I
Halo.
would build a castle.
What?
I've always wanted to build a
You
castle
can
out of
afford a
Mega
Mega
Bloks.
Bloks
So whenever I have a
castle. You
kid,
can afford
I'm
a
gonna build that
castle.
kid a castle out of Mega Bloks.
Oh, wow.
All right, so just
Chris's
as
kid go?
I'm pretty sure. Am I the only one that has a kid in the room? Anybody else have a kid in here?
No.
Okay, you can build that glorious castle, and in 2 seconds,
Yeah, you're gonna
that's
destroy
something
it.
that's gone.
You're gonna destroy it. That's
That's
fine.
yeah.
That's okay.
Children are Tasmanian devils.
It's gone.
I
But
have no
you know what?
problem with
Speaking of which, I mean, I hate to kind of claim, but you know, I do play with my son, and we do go do things and things like that. But you know, to keep him calm for a little bit, yeah, the iPad and Netflix, it's kind of my crutch for a little while. So you know, you can get things done. Now I don't let him do it all the time. I don't like that. I'm not for all that, because yes, he has come to me sometimes, and he's like, hey, can I get a game? All right, cool, whatever. I'll get him a game on the iPad, and not 2 seconds after I've clicked it, is it ready? And I've had to like, hey, stop that. You know, I've had to like get onto him. So I've tried to curb my son from that, but I do see a lot of children that you know are glued to the iPods,
Well,
iPads,
I'll let you guys
iPhones.
talk.
It's kind of hard to do that nowadays because when a kid goes to school, they have all this technology in front of them with other kids having
It's almost a
privileges and
requirement,
stuff.
too.
It's like, well, Jerry's got an iPad. His dad's cooler than you, and then you're like, yeah, fuck Jerry.
That's another thing. That's another thing I think we deal with more than anything is keeping up with the Joneses. Because it used to be, like with cell phones, for instance, you'd get a cell phone and you'd have that sucker way past your 2-year contract ending.
Like 6 years.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Nokia?
the juggernaut Nokia. Yeah.
Right.
Nokia 3390.
Yeah.
How long were we satisfied with that and satisfied with playing Snake on it?
Exactly.
Oh,
I was
man.
terrible at
I
Snake.
would just tear that thing up.
But I would
dude.
play it. I was terrible at it.
Right. But that was fun.
Right.
But then now we have so many things that we download like 50 free games. We're like, these are all shit.
Yes.
Because I remember you had to
Really,
use
in
like
our
those,
chat,
like,
didn't you
the
just
number
buy like
pad.
4 things to?
Shut up.
The thing that's really gotten me spoiled, and it's a horrible thing, is solid state hard drives. It's absolutely ridiculous.
They're
When I got,
phenomenal.
I know,
They're
but
amazing.
the speed comparison when I bought this laptop and I was showing it to Cliff, he was rebooting it, and he made the comment that it's up already. And it had taken like 15 seconds to reboot, and I realized then, it actually hit me then how spoiled I am with solid state hard drives.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like a meme I saw on the internet. Where
Yeah.
it was, the SpongeBob and Patrick meme.
That's
It's
how you're
like
supposed to use it.
every new solid state hard drive user is like, you don't watch me reboot it? You want to see me do it again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
he
all
was,
my.
He was absolutely amazed, and I'm just sitting here thinking, this is normal.
Like, I can reboot my laptop, go make a sandwich, watch an episode of Scrubs or Community or whatever, and come back and it's finally coming back
and
up.
I can reboot my
Some
laptop
work
and it's
to be
back up
done.
before I get out of the chair.
Horrible.
Yeah, I have a friend that does, digital work and stuff like media, movies and stuff. And, Adobe Photoshop is a big program. It takes a while if your hard drive is crap. Well, I remember I walked in, he's like, yeah, this is a pretty cool computer. I want to say the main thing is that I can do this. And boom, Photoshop opens up instantly. I was like, it's impressive.
Well, converting our podcast from an MP3 to an MP4 so I can load it to YouTube takes an hour on this laptop. I can only imagine how long it would take with a solid state. I'd probably have to just walk away from the machine for hours.
Tens of hours.
Here's something that I thought that just looking at this article, I was thinking about a technology that is like the epitome of a loss of patience. The digital watch. You can't even take the time to take the phone out of your pocket?
Don't even get me started about watches.
Smartwatch.
Smartwatches?
Right. Oh, sorry, not digital watch. That's for people who
You know,
can't
I'm
read
gonna say,
analog time.
the internship.
You leave my girlfriend alone.
She really can't read analog time.
But she loves that Michael Kors watch.
I don't know, like, it reminds me of the internship when he's like, no one wears watches anymore. It's a damn dead technology or whatever. He's like, Flo, what time is it? And she pulls out her cell phone, and Vince Vaughn's like, one hip pioneering secretary does not a trend make. It's like, she's 74.
And at what point did Apple think charging your watch more than once a day was a good idea?
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How often do you need to charge it?
Well, they claim you can get up to 18 hours. Everything I've read, you barely get 6.
You have to
Really?
charge it
I
every
think that
24
might be a
hours.
topic for another day because it sounds like it's going to be down the rabbit hole we go.
Well, the one thing I really have to say about it is I owned a Pebble for a little while, and I actually took it back within the 30 days. And the reason I took it back is because everywhere I went, I was looking at my watch like, let's go. What's going on? Because it was showing my Facebook chat. It was showing my texts. It was showing calls that I'd get. It showed notifications. So I was looking at it about every 5 seconds. And every time I was with a group of people at dinner, at lunch, at work, at anywhere, I was looking at my phone. Or I was looking at my watch. And everybody was like, "Do you have somewhere to be?" I'm like, "No, I'm just checking my texts." I'm like,
The only thing I have
sure
to say
because
about
you're a
that,
rude prick.
no, the only thing I have to say about the Apple Watch is the only thing I want for my watch, and I might be dating myself here, is it to tell time.
wrong.
No. I want my watch to tell
If I
time.
can FaceTime from my watch,
Fuck no.
I will Dick Tracy the
Yeah,
hell out of that.
I know. I feel like Dick Tracy.
That's some straight up Batman shit right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And if
I love
Apple
it.
thought they were going to enter a jewelry market, because that's what a watch is, with something that you have to plug in every day and be successful, got news for them. Most watches last months, years, off single charges.
Well, wasn't that one of the big commercials for smartwatches when they first came out? They had like clips of all these older shows that came out of them talking to their watch.
Yeah,
Power
wasn't that-
Rangers,
wasn't that
Star
That was,
Trek.
that was a Samsung commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
They have
I've never
smartwatches.
seen anyone use a smartwatch that way, where they're talking
Well,
to someone
it's
like,
because
yeah.
Well, I mean,
you can do that now.
I had a Samsung Gear 2 or Gear Neo that I got through work when I worked for T-Mobile, and when paired with a Samsung device, a Samsung phone, if you got a call, you could literally take it on your watch and just be like, "Hey, I'm in a meeting. I'll talk to you later." I mean, you'd look like some weirdo talking into your fist.
Yeah, you wouldn't look cool like it showed like
Right, you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm just taking my time. I'll call you back."
Well, I will say,
over and out.
Right.
I will say that the video of the prototype of it's like that little wristband where if you go like that, it shows your phone screen right here, and you can do everything.
It's
on
not
your
a
phone.
prototype.
Yeah,
that was a
wasn't-
CG thing.
Yeah, that was
Really?
Isn't that?
That just looks so cool.
Wait,
I
is
just
that
don't
a movie?
actually-
Hey,
It's not
it
real.
wasn't
It's
real.
not real. It's not true. It's on the internet.
Did you see that prototype of that red and gold suit with like the screen in the inside? Tony something was wearing
Oh,
that.
yeah. I don't know
What's his
about. I've
name?
seen
He
that.
flew with it.
He's one of the
I
guys
really
from Game
want
of
one.
Thrones, right?
Yeah.
House Stark.
I mean,
I hate you guys. I hate y'all so much.
if we're
Didn't
gonna
he
go,
play in Star Wars at some point?
if we're gonna go wearable watches, let's go all out and let's get a Pit Boy. Fuck this little watch shit.
A
Let's-
pit boy.
A Pip Boy from
Oh,
Fallout.
Pip.
Oh,
Let's go all
Fallout.
out.
Let's talk about Fallout.
Well, let's hold off on Fallout just right now. We are going to get into that at a different podcast, but I do want to bring up. Hey, I know you mentioned a little while ago the Meet the Jones kind of thing.
Keeping up with the
Keep it up,
Joneses.
okay, have you seen the movie? It's got David Duchovny and Demi Moore in it.
A little more
Oh,
detail.
yeah.
A little more detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you're talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about,
Okay.
yeah.
It's basically
That's a pretty good film. I enjoyed it. Same.
just because they gave you shit does not mean you need to retaliate.
Hey,
I didn't say
fine.
nothing to you.
That's fine. I enjoyed it.
No, the movie basically it's a family that is hired by a company. It's a fake family that has been put together, and they come into a neighborhood with Ethan Allen furniture, and the dude's got Titleist golf clubs and Samsung TVs.
Oh, to
and
make
everything.
everybody else
to
want
make
stuff.
everybody want
That's
exactly.
genius.
Where is this taking place?
That could take place in
Suburbia
my
somewhere.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
All I have to do is walk
Suburb.
people through my house, and they'd be like, "I need more technology."
Well, you're that person though. I mean, that would never work in like an older, like rural neighborhood.
Right, but why?
No,
Yeah,
this is like
out,
a-
man.
This is like the neighborhood that they set up in was like a Hampton Cove looking neighborhood. It was
Yeah,
Oh, that's
suburb,
fine.
yeah.
it was a richer suburb kind of.
The people. Who
Yeah, people
who
were coming
value
over.
their worth based on their bank account and possession.
But it was funny. Like I said, just watch the movie because it's got the dude from Office Space, the boss from Office Space. I don't ever remember. his
Yeah.
name.
Gary Cole. Gary Cole.
Is that yeah? Could you
Also,
come in at
Office
9?
Space, cult classic.
Gary Cole?
Okay, Gary Cole. Okay, so it's Gary Cole. Is that what you're trying to
Gary
say?
Cole.
Gary Cole. Okay, that guy. Yeah, no, it's got him in it, and he tries to compete, and he ends up going bankrupt. And it's a cool movie. It's
Is it
interesting to see.
Is it like a comedy or like a drama?
Uh,
or like a dark comedy?
let's say a dark comedy.
Okay,
It
I'll
says
watch
comedy drama.
Comedy drama? A dramedy?
Comedy.
People say dramedy need to be punched.
Comedy.
It turns dark.
I was PG, bro.
That was so ridiculous. What?
I ate a salad.
All right, so let's.
When was the last time you had a salad?
I enjoy salads. My body type, however, does not depict that. My body type looks like I enjoy.
I mean, I enjoy salads too, but
Cheese
it's gotta be
covered.
covered in dressing.
And nuggets.
And bacon.
And nuggets.
chicken nuggets.
And bacon. Hey, Zaxby's Caesar salad's got chicken
Salads are the
tenders,
best
bacon,
when they're
croutons.
between two
Got it
buns
all.
and above a piece of meat.
Or a couple of pieces of meat.
I think they're called hamburgers. Hamburger salads.
We're from the South. We're not exactly healthy eaters. If we could fry a salad, we would.
Or cover it in gravy.
I've tried.
Or
It's
gravy.
impossible.
Or gravy.
Straight.
You're better off frying the
I'll eat
croutons.
it.
Just gotta.
Is there gravy?
I'd put
Is there
4
gravy?
tubes of butter in my salad.
That's Paula Dean right there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Good luck. All right, so just to recap for everybody, so we come up with our cult classics. Everyone kind of. Anybody want to touch base back on that? at all?
I actually, me working at a gas station, I just asked a lot of people every single time they came into the gas station what theirs was, and I got some pretty good ones. Flight of the Navigator,
Compliance.
Yep.
Caddyshack,
I don't leak. You leak.
Tron.
Whoa, hang on. We need to pause.
Whoa.
We have to slow down. Do you not know what Flight of the Navigator is?
I'm sorry, it
Whoa,
sounds weird.
wait
but
a
I'm
minute.
drawing- I'm
Did
drawing
you
a
just
blank,
question
man.
that?
I'm
missed-
drawing a blank. I
What?
don't know why.
Come,
Are you
I don't leak.
serious?
You
Pee Wee
leak.
Herman was the voice of the Navigator.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, bro.
I'm gonna
Alright,
get it
alright,
Flight of the
alright.
Navigator
with the little,
is
with the
fine.
little, with the little suction cup bat looking
Space
monkey
Camp?
thing.
I wanted one of those in
Yeah.
the worst way.
Yeah. Okay. I know where we're at now.
All right.
We're good.
I
Caddyshack,
just said remake.
Tron,
Uh,
Office Space, Goonies.
Goonies came out 30 years ago yesterday, for those of you feeling nostalgic.
Ruth.
Baby Ruth.
Wow.
Rocky Horror, of course. That's gonna be a lot of good
They
things.
should
Well,
just
you know,
never-
Goonies could definitely tie into one that should probably not be remade.
Uh-huh.
They were-
Fun fact: whenever they first saw the ship, that was the first time they ever saw the pirate ship.
Like the actors?
Yes, the actors. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Because I was like, yeah, it was in
Like
the
they're,
movie.
yeah,
We all watched
I
it
was like,
together.
okay. The first time they saw it.
All right. So what
Now,
else?
what's cool about if you think about that, though, as far as like technology versus then and now, if they do that movie today, they would not see that ship.
exactly.
It would be a green screen,
Yeah.
about 10 feet away from them.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine the gadgets that what's his name would have?
Data?
I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks left and right.
Yeah,
How I
That's
said,
what I
booty
said.
trap. That's why I said booty trap.
Could you imagine what he'd come up with?
Tremors.
It was so bad.
Tremors was
Tremors too,
It was
man.
one of those No, your turn.
Kevin Bacon.
It was one of those campy, like, horror, like, it's like giant earthworms with bifurcated faces, and it's got Kevin Bacon.
He didn't dance in it though.
Night of the Living Dead. Spaceballs.
You could not make Spaceballs today.
No.
You couldn't make any Mel Brooks movie today.
Yogurt.
I don't think.
No, it'd be
Because there would be so
Yeah.
many people, like, petitioning, like, you can't do
It's
this.
like the Wayans brothers now.
Yeah.
Like that's who does these things now.
Show of hands, who's seen History of the World? Mel Brooks' History of the World? History of the World? If you haven't, you have homework now.
Yeah,
You could not make History of the World today because there'd be so many people picketing and special interest groups and
Oh,
I think-
shit,
I think-
Blazing Saddles, man.
Blazing Saddles
Like,
would
Yes.
never be
You
remade.
could
I think
never.
now-
Like, I
I
watched
think
it
today,
and I'm like,
if
there's
they tried
no
to
way
remake
you can
that,
make that.
there
now.
would be so much shit
Yeah.
because of the N word.
I think if you, I think if you take,
Nebraska?
I think if you take Monty Python and Mel Brooks out of the picture, you have to take. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody could recreate
They
those
can't.
and make them the same.
But what would you think would be the equivalent to those movies now?
Nothing.
And
Nothing.
don't say Will Ferrell because I will punch you in the
Nothing.
face.
Nothing.
Nothing. I mean, literally.
I don't think you could. I mean,
you
I think
can't
the
compare it.
Wayans brothers tried, like with the whole scary movie.
Well,
thing
they're
and
like
stuff
the
that.
People don't want that kind of movie anymore.
Mhm. Especially the desert scene. We've got to comb the desert, and they're literally combing the
We
desert.
ain't found
And-
shit.
And the two black guys have a fucking afro pick.
And the thing is, George Lucas tried to stop that movie from being made.
Dick.
Did y'all find anything?
All
right,
Shit.
finish up.
This one was added by me, but Starship Troopers. I thought that was a classic.
Well, I just had a really good one.
I loved Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I did too. I don't
But-
know if I'd
You know what?
category or not, but I like liked it a lot.
Seeing it recently reminds me of something that I've heard.
Neil Patrick Harris was better now than he was then.
No, when somebody told me, or you read these stupid BuzzFeed lists and all this other stuff, and one of the things that stuck with me was when you remember things now, you're remembering the last time you remembered them. So it's kind of like playing a years-long...
Could you say that one more time? My brain stopped listening.
When you remember something today, you're not remembering the original instance of it.
God.
You're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Ah.
So it's kind of like painting a prettier picture each time you remember it.
Like the telephone game, but backwards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when I think about Starship Troopers, I think I loved that movie. It was great at the time. But I went back and watched it recently, and I'm like, these are 30-year-old high school kids. Who made this movie?
And the last couple are like just... I'm going to go ahead and say their names like shout-outs for listening to the podcast. But last night, Megan Hillard gave me and Cody a good one, which was Sandlot.
That is a classic.
You can't redo Sandlot.
I don't think you can redo Sandlot.
No, that can't be.
I think there should be a law that if you attempt to redo Sandlot, they were going to put you on like a desert island.
They did Sandlot
to do
too.
that already? Yeah.
No, they did.
They did a recent Sandlot.
Yeah,
but it was
That's like
just
the Air Bud movies. They're going to do 19 of them no matter what. No one's going to buy them, but they're going to keep
horrible.
making them.
But the original, you could not redo the original.
No,
in any
never.
form or
You could
fashion.
never.
I don't think you can
All
redo
right.
Little Rascals.
So Megan, thanks for listening to us on that one.
My coworker George, he's a good friend of mine. His was Goonies, and then my friend John Sawa, he gave me a good couple. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh my God! You want to talk about wrecking my childhood?
That was awesome. I laughed the entire time.
The soundtrack was the best part, Caleb.
The crazy Charlotte was sucking the blood out.
Oh my God!
We already talked about this one, but Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dead Alive.
Yep.
Plan 9 from Outer Space. And Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I don't know how to say it.
I just had one
Words.
just a minute ago pop into my head. I can't believe none of us mentioned it, considering our age demographic. They could never remake this movie, The Dark Crystal.
Oh,
Anything like
fucking
that.
love
Alien
Dark Crystal,
Jim
man.
Henson
Any Muppets.
Love it.
need not be touched.
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth.
Could you imagine
Dark
them trying to
Crystal.
CG
You
something
can't
like
do
The Dark
Labyrinth
Crystal now?
nowadays because no one's going to take their kid to see David Bowie's crotch on screen.
No.
That's
It's
how I-
ridiculous. Like,
But Kroll. I think
Oh,
Who here has
Yeah,
seen
that's
Kroll though?
Yes,
All hands up! All hands up! You got homework.
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 That's
You got
such a
homework.
I'm
good
24. I don't know a lot
Liam
of these films.
Such a
Neeson,
classic
breakout
movie, man.
role. Are you
Such a
kidding me?
classic.
No one else in that movie went anywhere. Liam
I'm glad you
Neeson,
mentioned
the
that.
spider
I forgot all
scene.
about
Yes.
Oh yeah, the spider.
Oh yeah.
I like the Clydesdales that could
Is it a
run
scary
super
movie?
fast
Yeah,
and
that scene
flame
was
hooves or whatever.
Oh yeah, like they're running in place.
Is
Yeah.
it a scary movie?
All right.
No.
It's
No.
an incredibly terrible, campy, cheesy,
Sci-fi.
science
Action, yeah,
fantasy.
fantasy.
Like
Yes.
I've got one that everybody loved at the time. It spun up a lot of things. It had a TV show that could totally be redone now because it needs to be. Because I went back and watched it and it's horrible. Dune.
No.
That's such a good movie.
You
Such
think it's a good
movie.
movie? Have you seen it recently?
I haven't seen it recently.
That's why you think
Okay,
it's a
now
good
hang on,
movie.
hang on.
I watched
Time out
Here's
right
the
there.
mind killer.
If you compare Dune, special effects,
Yes.
acting, whatever, with anything today, it's gonna look like a polished up turd.
I'm trying not to compare it though. I'm trying to
But
genuinely watch
if
it
you,
for what
watched
it
if you
is.
the
take it
entire
for what it
Legacy
was
series.
in the context and time frame
Yes.
and
At
who
the time.
made
At the
it
time, yes.
for what
Yes,
it was,
at the time.
it is outstanding.
Yeah, I liked it.
Needs to be redone.
I'm not even like a Dune fanboy, but that's like it's for what
The
it
only
was.
way I'd get behind a Dune anything is if it wasn't a remake, if it was either continuing,
Like Mad Max.
like they just did Mad Max, or like what they're doing with Star Wars, push it further into the
Yeah.
timeline.
Right.
I could not get behind them redoing.
Like the only unbelievable part of Dune is Sting is a badass.
Oh yeah.
Sting. Yeah.
Gordon,
Yeah.
Gordon, put the knife down, Gordon.
All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for listening to us again today. Again, we hope we entertained Cliff. Man, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
It was fun for me too.
Again, Randall, buddy. We hope you listen to this. Again, big congratulations out to you and the future Mrs. Randall.
Good
I'm
luck
just
to
saying,
you.
it's just Randall. It's just Randall.
And now
But no, and
Mr.
again,
Mrs. Randall.
yeah. Thanks again to I think Megan,
Megan Hillard, George Hannaford, and John Sawa for tuning in and giving us
feedback.
Suggestions.
Please contact us via Twitter at Bush League Geek, Facebook Bush League Geek. You can email us bushleaguegeek@gmail.com. And until next time,
please comment with your suggestions, your favorite cult classics, and anything that you'd like to hear us talk about.
Oh yeah, if we missed anything.
Yeah, give us good suggestions.
Definitely give us feedback, guys.
Yes.
That way we're answering your questions.
And Excelsior! Sorry.